Have you ever sat through a lecture, nodded along, completely convinced you understood everything, only to find yourself stumbling when someone asked you to explain it later? That moment of clarity when you realize what you thought you knew, you don't actually know at all. Has this ever happened to you? What if I told you that this moment of uncomfortable realization isn't a failure, but actually the doorway to genius-level learning? The difference between average thinkers and extraordinary minds isn't IQ or natural talent. It's a deceptively simple technique that most people overlook. Today, I'm going to reveal Richard Feynman's shocking secret to unlocking your brain's full potential. This Nobel Prize-winning physicist wasn't just brilliant because of genetics. He developed a method of learning that transformed how his mind processed and retained information. And the most surprising part? It goes against everything most educational systems teach us. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might completely transform how you absorb and master new information for the rest of your life. The human mind is masterful at creating illusions, especially the illusion of understanding. We read something, highlight it, maybe even take notes and convince ourselves we've learned it. But true learning doesn't happen through passive absorption. The mind doesn't strengthen from mere exposure to information any more than muscles grow from just looking at weights. The secret lies in immediate application, specifically in teaching what you've just learned. When you force yourself to explain a concept as if you're teaching a child, something remarkable happens in your neural pathways. Your brain must reorganize information, fill gaps in understanding, and translate complex ideas into simple language. This process doesn't just reinforce learning, it creates it. Think of your brain as a muscle that needs specific types of exercise. Each time you encounter new information, it's like picking up a light weight. But the real growth, the transformation from surface knowledge to deep understanding, happens when you repeatedly test that muscle in different situations. What you're about to discover might surprise you. Many of history's greatest thinkers weren't just masters of accumulating information, they were masters of transformation. They didn't just collect facts, they turned knowledge into clarity through a specific process that few people practice today. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now, imagine for a moment what would happen if you approached learning not as a passive consumer of information, but as an active teacher, even when there's no one else in the room. Imagine the neural connections forming as you articulate concepts in your own words, creating examples that make sense to you, identifying precisely where your understanding breaks down. If you're ready to join a community dedicated to unlocking your mental potential, hit that subscribe button now. Every video we create is designed to help you think clearer, learn faster, and understand deeper, just like Feynman taught us. This transformation begins the moment you start explaining what you've learned. Have you ever noticed that peculiar feeling when you're in the middle of explaining something and suddenly your words begin to fail you? That stumbling isn't a sign of failure. It's a revelation, a hidden truth about your understanding that most people miss entirely. These moments of hesitation are actually the most valuable part of your learning journey. They're like spotlights, illuminating the exact areas where your understanding is incomplete. Most people run from this discomfort, but those who embrace it experience a profound mindset shift. Instead of being passive consumers of information, they become active creators of knowledge. The impact of this simple shift cannot be overstated. When you attempt to teach a concept and find yourself struggling to articulate it clearly, you've just discovered gold, the precise point where your understanding needs reinforcement. This is the exact moment when real learning begins. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic by revealing the practical framework behind Feynman's genius. The brilliance of his approach lies in its simplicity, a three-step process that anyone can implement immediately to experience dramatic results. First, take what you've learned and explain it aloud as if you're teaching someone who has absolutely no background knowledge on the subject. This forces your brain to translate complex information into simple, accessible language. The key here is speaking aloud, not just thinking about the explanation. When you verbalize your understanding, you engage different neural pathways and expose gaps in your knowledge that silent reflection often misses. Second, and this is where most people fail, pay careful attention to the moments when you stumble, when the words don't flow easily, or when you resort to jargon or complexity. These stumbling blocks aren't random. They're precise indicators of where your understanding breaks down. Return to these specific points and study them again until you can explain them with complete clarity. Third, anchor abstract concepts in concrete reality by using everyday examples and visual comparisons. If you're learning about economic principles, compare them to water flowing through different channels. If you're studying psychology, relate concepts to familiar human interactions. These connections create powerful memory pathways that make retention almost effortless. The decisions you make in these moments of practice determine whether information merely passes through your mind or becomes permanently integrated into your understanding. Behind the scenes of every great thinker's process, you'll find this pattern of deliberate explanation followed by targeted reinforcement. The revelations that emerge when you practice this method consistently are often surprising. Concepts you thought were complex suddenly appear simple. Ideas that seemed disconnected reveal hidden relationships. Your entire relationship with learning undergoes a fundamental shift. Write in the comments, "I'm unlocking my mind," if you've ever experienced that moment of clarity when something finally clicks after explaining it to someone else. There's another dimension to this journey of understanding that amplifies everything we've discussed so far. The simple act of writing down what you've learned creates a profound bridge between your internal thoughts and the external world. This isn't just note-taking, it's a deliberate practice that forces your brain to slow down, organize scattered ideas, and crystallize nebulous concepts into concrete form. When you write, something remarkable happens to your cognitive architecture. The thoughts that once floated loosely in your mind suddenly require structure, sequence, and clarity. This process of externalization allows you to witness your own understanding from a completely different vantage point, almost like an architect examining their blueprint from above rather than standing within the building itself. The wisdom in this practice lies in its ability to bypass our natural tendency toward illusion. We often believe we understand concepts fully until we attempt to articulate them on paper. The revelation comes in those moments of hesitation, when your pen pauses and you think, "How exactly do I explain this?" That pause isn't an obstacle. It's the precise moment when your mind begins its most valuable work. Unlike the passive consumption of information that characterizes most learning approaches, writing actively engages your entire cognitive system. It transforms you from a mere recipient of knowledge into its architect and builder. The words you choose, the connections you draw, the examples you create, all become uniquely yours, embedded far more deeply than any highlighted text in a book could ever be. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by revealing another crucial element of Feynman's method that few people discuss: the cultivation of deep, uninterrupted focus. In today's fragmented attention landscape, this might be the most revolutionary aspect of his approach. Feynman understood that the mind wasn't designed to carry 1,000 thoughts simultaneously. When your attention splinters across notifications, worries, and mental distractions, your learning capacity diminishes dramatically. It's like trying to light a fire with matches in a windstorm. Each spark extinguishes before it can catch. The breakthrough comes when you create a protected space for your attention, sheltering it from distractions until it generates enough heat to transform information into understanding. Feynman's technique of the concentration notebook exemplifies this approach. By writing a single, clear question at the top of a page, he directed all his mental energy towards solving one problem, eliminating the mental noise that typically dilutes our focus. Subscribe now and become part of our growing community of lifelong learners. I share these powerful techniques in every video, and I don't want you to miss a single one that could transform your understanding forever. This practice creates a unique state of flow where time seems to disappear and learning deepens exponentially. Your curiosity becomes fuel, pulling your attention back whenever it tries to wander. The questions you ask yourself, how does this connect to what I already know? Or how would I apply this in the real world? Become magnetic forces that strengthen your engagement with the material. The illumination that emerges from this focused state doesn't just help you remember information, it helps you see connections and possibilities that remain invisible to the distracted mind. Your learning transforms from accumulation to integration, from memorization to understanding. Write in the comments, "Focus is my superpower." If you've ever experienced that state of deep concentration, where hours passed like minutes and understanding seemed effortless. So there, you have it, the powerful secret that transformed Richard Feynman from a brilliant physicist into one of history's greatest teachers and thinkers. This method isn't complex, but it demands something more valuable than complexity: consistency. When you commit to teaching what you learn, writing to organize your thoughts, and cultivating deep focus, you're not just improving your memory, you're rewiring your entire relationship with knowledge. I've shared these insights with you today because I believe everyone deserves access to methods that unlock their full potential. The journey of transforming your learning doesn't end here. It's just beginning. Every day presents new opportunities to apply these principles, to move from passive consumption to active creation. If you found value in these ideas today, I'd love to continue this conversation with you. Subscribe to join our community of curious minds who are committed to lifelong growth and understanding. Each video we create is designed with the same intention, to provide you with insights that create real transformation in your life. If this message resonated with you, write "My mind is unlocked" in the comments below. I read every comment, and I'm genuinely curious about your experiences with these methods. If you enjoyed our time together, a simple like lets me know these ideas connected with you and helps others discover this approach to learning as well. There's a video right here that explores how to apply these learning techniques specifically to master complex subjects in half the time. Click and continue with me over there. I think you'll find it builds perfectly on what we've discussed today. Until next time, remember that true learning isn't about what you consume, it's about what you create.